Welcome to another DK Custom Products video. My name is Kevin, this is Dwayne, and today we're going to do a frequently asked questions video, and we're not going to answer the question,
Yeah.
but we are going to discuss some aspects on the subject.
So this question comes from one of our valued customers, and he was asking our opinion on helmets. You know, helmets are synonymous with motorcycles. And so before we get started, before I let you answer that question, we'd appreciate it if you guys would like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. It'd really help us out. Just leave us a comment. Just say, hey, whatever you want to do. YouTube likes it, so we like it. But the question is, Kevin, how do you go about choosing a helmet?
And specifically, didn't he ask Dot or Snell?
Right, he asked what are your opinions on Dot or Snell and what you prefer.
So we're not going to give helmet advice because we are not safety experts.
Right.
We don't want to have any liability. And to be honest, since the last time I looked at since the last time I looked at Snell versus Dot, it's been like 15 years.
Yeah, and there's probably countless comprehensive videos out there of people doing crash dummy tests, repetitive stress tests on the helmet. And while I'm sure we could get some packaging employees to do some crash tests for us, we're not gonna go into it. We're just gonna leave that up to the professionals. We'll just.
But there are a bunch of clips out there.
Yeah.
So I just want to make it real clear, do that little disclaimer thing. You know, we're just going to talk about what we have done and what we do. Do not take it as something that you should do. You need to do your own research on what is going to be safe for you. We are not qualified to give
Not at all.
Safety advice. So, but we do have a lot of thoughts about helmets.
Yes, as I'm sure everybody does. Helmets, like a lot of stuff with motorcycles, it's a spectrum. You have people that don't wear helmets at all to people that wear full face, just DOT approved, just full on protective full face helmets.
Right. There are people out there who don't wear helmets, and will show you studies where not wearing a helmet is safer than wearing a helmet because of there's one or two studies out there showing broken necks from the extra weight of a helmet. So there's people who, you know, are rabidly, you know, non-helmet. And the fact of the matter is, when I was a kid, and I think probably when you were a kid, we spent thousands of hours riding a motorcycle with no helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Shorts and a t-shirt, maybe shoes, you know, and so, and still, every now and then, Mary and I'll go for a ride with no helmet. It's more fun with no helmet. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's more of a sense of freedom. It's just more enjoyable without a helmet. But, you know, 99.9% of the time, we wear a helmet now. So then there are different kinds of helmets. There's skid lids.
Yeah, they're really thin, just there for legal reasons. Really,
Yeah.
probably aren't going to protect you in any way, shape, or form.
Well, and there's ones that aren't approved by anybody, and they maybe put a fake
Put a little sticker.
it, okay? And then there's half helmets, and Mary and I for a lot of years rode with the half helmet, and a Dot approved half helmet. And then there's the 3/4 helmets, you know, that was really popular when I was, you know, in my teens and in 20s, and that's what I had, a Bell 3/4 helmet.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's long trips. I like the 3/4 helmet. You know, they look cool, but you know, ear protection, things like that. You don't have to wear, you know, earplugs. That wind gets to you over time. So I like the 3/4 helmets on long rides, but the half helmets just short rides.
And then there's full face helmets.
Yeah.
Like motocross riders, you know, popularized, you know, and people who race wear full face helmets, and a lot of people who ride Harleys wear full face helmets. Far more now than say 15, 20 years ago. And then there's what's called a modular helmet. And the modular helmets are fairly new. I think in the last 15 or 20 years is when they came about. And it was about 15 years ago that Mary and I started talking about wearing more than a half helmet, which is what we wore. And so we did a lot of research, and we ended up getting some modular helmets. And why a modular helmet? A modular helmet, you can flip it up, take a drink with your helmet on. At the time I used to smoke. I could smoke with my helmet on. You could just get more air on you with the helmet on. But the idea is that most of the time you ride with the chin thing down. This is a modular helmet right here. And so you can ride like this, and then it comes down, and it becomes effectively a full face helmet, albeit not as strong because it's hinged right here.
Well, part of his question was Snell approved versus DOT approved or DOT approved. So what are your opinions on that?
So this is old information that may or may not still be accurate, and this is the conclusion that I drew, is that the Snell helmet, because it has a higher standard, it has to withstand more impacts before the helmet fails than the DOT. I did not want that. I wanted something like the cars now, they crumple when they get hit. If I'm, obviously the best thing is to never ever have to have your helmet have an impact. If your helmet has an impact, something bad has happened. So I don't, the majority of my energy is spent in accident avoidance. But if my helmet is going to have an impact, I want that helmet to absorb as much of the energy as it can, so less energy passes through to my head. And to me, it just seemed that the Snell was so much stronger, it wasn't absorbing as much energy, it was going to pass more through to my head. That's the conclusion I came to 15 years ago, which is why I did not opt to go with the Snell. That might have been an erroneous conclusion at the time. It might have been a correct conclusion at the time, but not correct now. So do your research and make your decisions. But that's the thought process that I went through when looking at a Snell or a DOT rated. The helmet gets hit, you're not supposed to use it again anyway.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think that, you're only supposed to use them for 4 or 5 years. All they are is styrofoam inside.
Yeah.
You have the padding, and then you have this shell, and then in between the padding and the shell is styrofoam. So, and they have, you can put up some pictures, they have crumple zones actually built into the styrofoam so that they'll absorb it, the energy.
Okay.
So Dwayne, how do you go about choosing a helmet for yourself?
Well, I hate to say it, but price plays a role in it. Helmets are one of those things you really get what you pay for. If you buy a novelty helmet off of Amazon or something like that, it's there for looks and legality. It's not really going to do much for you. And I know a lot of people like to, crap on Harley and, their wardrobe and their fashion and everything. They make really good helmets. The Harley brand helmets are really good. All the top tier brand helmets are good. The Shoeis, the Simpson helmets are good. There are a lot of good helmets out there. And a lot of it is styling. Yeah, you don't want just some big honking pink helmet to match your black street glide, So, I just choose, and I choose my helmet based on what I need it for. As I said earlier, I go with a 3/4 helmet to cover my ears from wind noise when I go on long rides. And I have a face shield for that and all of that. But I have been considering a full face helmet. The older I get, I realize how valuable, all of this is. So I'm considering a full face helmet.
So, do you order it online, or do you actually fit it on?
Oh, absolutely. I go. I have bought the same brand helmet consecutively, and in that case, yeah, you can order it online. But in my opinion, you should go try it on. Absolutely. It's just like shoes. If you know the brand and the style shoe, how it fits, that's fine. But if you're in the market for a brand new helmet, absolutely go try it on. Yeah. So what do you do? I know you're particular about your helmet, so how do you go about it?
Well, and it's not just me, but Mary also. But one thing that we look at when choosing a helmet, We both used to have black helmets.
Mm-hmm.
Mary now has a white helmet because sun beating down, it's not going to get as hot as a black helmet. I couldn't go with a white helmet, so I went with a silver helmet, not black, not white, a silver helmet, and silver or gray. And so that's one thing, is the color. The other thing, it has to fit comfortably and not weigh a lot. I like the Modular. Mary likes the Modular. Mary rides with hers closed 90% of the time. I ride with mine open 90% of the time. I know it's not as safe, but I want to feel that wind. About the only time I close it is if it's down in the 30s and I'm feeling cold, or if it's raining so hard that it's just pelting my face and stinging, then I'll close it up. But most of the time I ride with it open, which is not as safe, but I want it to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel claustrophobic in a full face, so that's why I get a Modular, so I can act like I have a full face, even though I don't use it much.
Yeah, comfort is key. I mean, that's one of the key things about a helmet. If it's not comfortable, you're not going to want to wear it. And if you don't want to wear it, you're not going to ride as long or as far or as often. So always make sure the helmet's comfortable as well as safe.
I think the most important thing is get a good helmet. Do whatever you think is best for yourself. But the most important thing is practice your riding skills. Get in a parking lot and practice obstacle avoidance, practice panic stopping, practice, so that you don't ever need to use the helmet.
Right.
So while we didn't answer, if you should get a Snell or a Dot, I hope we did give some information that will give you some food for thought when choosing a helmet for yourself.
Yep. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to ride safe out there.